you guys were first on here trying to get karma?
Question. Let me go to my post history.
Don't think I've actively hunted out to get karma, really.
I just said jokes on our jokes all day.
I posted too much on r/dank memes and got banned for 69 days.
Damn.
Actually, the first things I posted, I'd just gone to a museum and a military museum, and I saw some tanks and aircraft, and I thought those would be nice to show people. It wasn't necessarily for karma because I didn't particularly care about that, but it was just something interesting.
Most of my posts are just screenshots from Elite Dangerous.
Most of my posts are just a random mixed bag of things.
Oh wow! Shout out to the guys in the comments. Yeah, I made it, guys. I have a story, right, of this guy that he found love on Omegle. Have you ever used Omegle?
Oh,
I have not.
Well, no, but I heard of it.
I've heard of it. Yeah,
you just video chat strangers every day, or as you continue. So the thing is, he was on there. He was drunk, and it's been like months, and like he just got out of a relationship with this girl he met years ago in his childhood, like childhood love, right? So he was on there. He finally met this one girl, and on Omegle you have video chat, and she was wearing like an alien mask, and she was like, "Hi, bring me to your leader." So this is his catchphrase. He was like, "Well, I'm my own leader, so would you like to see me? We could go out on a date." After that, they started chatting more. They started giving their social medias. They fell in love, and she was from, I don't know the place. It's from China. So bear with me.
China.
Somewhere I forgot the name. I really forgot the name, sadly. And so he was in America, somewhere in America. I don't remember. He's my best friend. I forgot. So he realized that she was coming to visit in America daily, meeting her grandparents because her parents died. Both of them were going through depression. So when they finally met up and they got together, they made a suicide pact because they were like, "You're someone that I want to live for," and I'm, like when you're really going through it, you find some light. That's not anything good to do. Don't put your love into someone like that. But they both loved each other, made a suicide pact. If we ever weren't with each other, they'd end it. So they're gonna try to live on for each other. After a while, you guys remember 2020 how it was. This relationship was before that, but remember she's from China. So in 2020, she went back to go visit her whoever she lived with in China, and COVID hit. So she was separated in a different country, and he was in, I don't know. I guess we'll say Denmark and New Jersey or something. And so after that, he stopped getting calls from her, so it was weird. And so the thing is, her sister called him and told him that she had taken her life away. So the thing is, I was on Omegle and I was scrolling. We finally meet, and I was talking to him. He was trying to tell me about the story. Like, even though that love disappeared, she made him believe again, because the woman that he was in love with before, she was his childhood love, but when she was pregnant and the child came out, it wasn't his child. So that broke him. And so he was on Omegle drinking for months. He tries to tell me about the time when he met the childhood girl. Sarah, so back then he was young. Sarah is his best friend's sister. So he was growing up in that area. I don't know what area it was. I forgot. But I think it's the same as New Jersey, his hometown, and he and his family was over there, and he got with his cousins, and so he became like a well-known producer. I'm not saying no names, but he was a well-known producer in those areas. He worked with it's the guys who made the song Prototype. It has like 10 million views on YouTube. I forgot the name, but you'll know the song if you hear it. As he grew up, as he was growing up, he was like 17. He didn't tell nobody that he made a lot of money through music. So he was just living his life. Only his best friend knew. And so as you're famous and you know, you're getting, your life is moving with music, he gets a lot of Instagram girls in his DMs. And so he never really took time to waste his time with that. His best friend asked him, why are you always single? Why don't you have like a girlfriend or something? And he told his best friend that he was in love with his sister ever since he was younger. That was really his only, like his real crush. You know, as you love, you don't always have crush left and right, but that was really his crush. And since it was his sister, he never really attempted. So he was telling his friend this through the DM, and his best friend screenshotted that and sent it to his sister. And I missed out on this detail, but his sister was like 2 years older than him, and she got married to another guy. And so she went off to live with that guy. But in the back, he told her that his sister, the best friend told the guy, I guess we'll name him Matt. He told him that his sister has been going through a lot with abuse, and the marriage is kind of failing. She was just 19. She married him like a year before, and then they went off. So I guess it was just too fast. But she said he told her that it was breaking and that he might have a chance. So after he screenshotted, sent it to her, 2 days later, you'll guess who adds him on, I guess, Instagram. And it's his sister. They start chatting, they start talking to each other, they start saying how much they miss each other. His sister didn't know that he had a crush till his best friend told him. After a while, they started sending pictures to each other. It got to that point. And she was like, hey, you know that she's been having a lot of problems with her marriage, but she's coming back home in like 2 weeks, and that you should come and see her. Matt should come and see her. So she touches down in 2 weeks. Matt goes over there. His best friend house is like 2 blocks up. And he just walks there. He goes, he meets her mom, he talks to her, and then he chills with the sister. They're just sitting in the living room, and it gets dark. After a while, he's about to say that he's about to go home. But his mom is like, oh, since you guys been childhood best friends, you can go up to her room and sleep with her. But I don't think he meant in that way. He goes up, and this is his words. He told me they went to the room, they were chilling, they were talking for a while, but after about 20 minutes, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but they were fucking like rabbits. But after that, he kept seeing her day by day. He would go over there and, spend a day with her.
What is this
And they
leading
would-
to?
Yeah.
Something dark. But let's also remember that she's still married. The marriage was breaking, but she was still there. But she just came back for some time. And after a while, this guy, Matt, he meets up with her in the morning, and he has to drive her to the airport. He doesn't know why, but when she's leaving, she's like, she's going back to her husband.
Can I just pause you for a second?
Okay.
If it gets any more fucked up, can you just tell us? Okay.
Of course.
Cool.
Of
Right,
course.
cool. Continue then.
He drives her off to the airport, and he sees her off, to see her husband. He can't really say nothing about that. So, And 2 weeks later, she comes back, and she's like, well, it didn't work out again. So they're meeting. So they meet up, and they get back, and they're together for a while. And then once again, on a random day, she goes back with him, meets up, and he drives her to the airport with her family and everything, and sees her off to her husband. This happened for I don't know about 5 or 6 times till he couldn't do it anymore. The last time, she came back and she was like, "Hey, she'll never do that again, and that is broken off, and they're supposed to get a divorce." She's like, she can't keep doing this. She's like, she really has her heart for him, for Matt. And Matt is like, okay, he's like, okay, is the girl his dream came back in his life, and he's like, all right, I'll do this one more time. So she's like, cool, but one day he's gonna bring the divorce papers to the house, and like after a while of them seeing each other and meeting up, one day he was done, chilling with her, and he was about to go home. So that day he decided to not go to the front door because she was like, the husband is supposed to bring the divorce papers. And as he decides to go to the back door. He opens the door and guess who he sees? He sees some random guy. But obviously it's the husband. So he gets nervous because behind his back they've been together. He tries to shake his hands, but he was so nervous. He was like, hey, how are you? Don't think anything is going on between me and Sarah. He stutters. I don't know why he stuttered. He was just nervous. And he was just like, the guy didn't shake his hand. He was just like, I'm sorry, just walks off. And the guy was so confused. He asked Sarah about it. And so she called Matt later on and was asking him why did he say that. He's like, well, he was just really nervous. And since you're getting divorced, it shouldn't matter. Next day, the papers are already signed. They did whatever they had to do. The guy leaves. He goes back home. Matt and her is together for a while. And they're just chilling and they're just enjoying life. And so once again, after a while, she asks to go to the airport. He sees her off with the family. She told him that she's leaving back to go see him one more time. And after she left, that broke him. And he was really heartbroken. He was going through a lot. And so he had a lot of money, so he don't really go to school after that. So he just decides to drive off, and he goes by himself. He goes out of state into the woods. Before he went to the woods, he packed his camping gear and stuff like that. He had weapons, shotguns, a pistol. He was just going out to the woods to camp and get his mind away from society. He just needed to breathe. He wasn't a big fan on phones either, so all he had was his laptop. He only talked to people through DMs or through email. He was there for about 6 months in the wild, just living off the wildlife. And all he had was like an MP3 and a solar panel to charge it. Other than that, he had no communication with outside at all. He said he got so lonely he started talking to plants and naming plants. Andy, he'd be like, hey,
Dude,
Andy.
can I ask something? Can I ask where the story's going? Because we are
Oh, it just 5 minutes, I'll be done. Or less. 5 minutes, and I'll be done. After that, after a while, he decides to leave the woods, but you wouldn't believe what made him want to leave the woods. You're gonna have to, I don't know, you don't have to believe me, but this is a true story. He told me that one night he was going to check on the traps that he put earlier for the animals around because he was living off the wildlife. And so when he was going, he was walking through the forest, and he's like, the forest should always have sound. But it got super quiet when he was walking. Like you couldn't hear nothing, no crickets or anything. And he walks down the path and he turns to his left and he sees a wolf, a gray wolf hunched down. And it was so weird because the eyes were yellow and it was looking at him. And I guess it was scared. It was telling him he's like, it was snarling and everything, telling him to back off, but he froze. But after that, when he froze, for some reason, the wolf is stood up on his 2 legs, and he said that the claws, it was like hands with claws and like a weird body. He's like, he don't know. I guess he looked on Reddit later on after he left, and he told me that there was sightings of, I guess, a weird creature in the woods that he was in. And so as soon as he seen that, he started backing off slowly. And after he made a couple distance away, he turned around. He ran for his camp, grabbed his shotgun, shot a couple shots in the air, missed whatever. He stood there till morning. As soon as morning came, he grabbed all his stuff, go to the hotel, find the nearest hotel. Finally, he gets internet and he checks his email, and you wouldn't guess who emailed him, and it was the girl. And she was like, she came back home one more time because it didn't work out, but she's
Hello? No.
Is he still there?
No, I don't think he is.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what to do now. We could go back to ask for questions or something.
Yes, I think that would be for the better.
Let's check comments. I could add someone from someone else.
The comments are about the story. That was quite an interesting and intriguing and long story.
Yeah.
Thank
just
you
invite
for
someone.
the contribution. I think some people may be asleep.
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
I did just add someone, so.
Someone asks why there's so many British people in the comments.
What?
No, it was me and Orange.
Or is it Orange?
Yeah, I think
someone
Orange
else
is British.
joined.
Yeah, you're British, aren't you?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
I
Well,
just
hello
added
there. First of all, I want to say hello from Romania.